Hello again, citizens, and welcome back for episode number 15 of The Whole Truth for the week of 13 January 2014. The only Star Citizen news show where we don't care if Soylent Green is made out of people, because we gotta eat, man. There's a new work in progress post for the Cutlass. We get 26 pictures that show us the development process of this pirate-oriented ship. It's interesting to see how we got where we are now via some of these older concept artwork pictures. We got a new letter from the chairman on reaching the $36 million crowdfunding goal. By hitting that goal, we've unlocked the first player-voted system, the TAMSA system. The TAMSA system has a black hole in the center with only 2 planets left, a Chthonian world and a gas giant that are very far from the black hole's event horizon. For the $38 million goal, what will we unlock? The fully aquatic planet. I can't believe it, but we successfully voted the aquatic planet into existence. The Kano system has only one inhabited planet, and it's a water world. I'm going to give myself a boat and pretend I'm Kevin Costner. So more about this system when we hit that goal. As a bonus for hitting the $36 million goal, we received an image of a revised design for the updated Freelancer cockpit with greater visibility. I think they did an excellent job listening to the community in the correct way on this one. This ship is meant to be a sort of a trucker ship, and they kept the feel of that while moving the seats further up into the cockpit where they should be. They removed some of the beams and they lengthened the windows. All in all, I love it, but we won't know just how good it is until we get to see it in the hangar. There's been a revamp of the Ask a Developer section on the official forums. We now have different threads for every conceivable part of the game that you would like to ask questions about. The different sections will be maintained by the team leads to keep developers' threads up to date and the community in contact. We got a new press roundup post with a feature video from MMORPG.com where we get a tour of the Santa Monica office complete with tales of Chris Roberts owning everybody in Galaga. There's a new lore post from the Terra Gazette entitled DTN Unveils New System. This is in reference to the $36 million system unlock of TAMSA. They go over the announcement of the newly discovered system in the game lore and whether or not the UEE will decide to claim it. This is a really nice way to introduce us to these new systems that we've voted into existence. These are typically very well written, and throughout the course of development they've given us a great understanding of what it's like to actually be in this game world. A new galactic guide detailing the fictional company Drake Interplanetary was released. In this article they talk a lot about the company's cornerstone ship, the Cutlass, and how its affordable design has led to a lot of pirates and smugglers using the ship for unscrupulous deeds. The fact that pirates have a difficult time using typical forms of insurance means that cost-efficient ships like the Cutlass are very popular. It's stated in the article that this year's models are all about streamlining the Cutlass, Caterpillar, and the Buccaneer. This week we got to meet Patrick Thomas, CIG's newest artist and also the person responsible for getting your Cutlass finished. These interviews are always interesting to me. I've never followed a game before where I got to learn about the development team in such detail. Patrick has worked on a lot of awesome games in the past, including titles like World of Warcraft, Warcraft 3, and so on. If you want to know more, you know what to do. This week's Lore Builder returns to squadron numbering systems, and now that we're done with Sata Ball, it's on to celebrities. For the numbering system, we have some lists of acronyms and layouts up for discussion, and for the celebrity section, we get an excerpt from the writer's guide with some good information to follow on creating these celebrities. We're asked to write a description of the celebrity in the comments section on the page. All entries should be kept to a single paragraph. If you'd like to contribute to the history, lore, and feel of the Star Citizen universe, this is your chance. And that about does it for the website news. Let's do a Wingman's Hangar recap, why don't we? So for Wingman's Hangar number 52, we see that the team is now in the new office in Austin. We also find out that the Cutlass is not finished yet. We knew that anyway though. Lots of new jobs have been posted on the website, and there's still no specific ETA on the dogfighting module. Let's do forum feedback Q&A. When your ship's shield soaks up damage from hits passing through, will the shield power drain and have a recharge mechanic? If so, will shields at lower power or integrity provide diminishing returns? Rob says, shields do recharge over time, some faster than others. As shields take damage, they actually do stop fewer things. Around the topic of team gameplay, we want to run missions together, run operations together, and even roam together. So I'm wondering if you can allude a little bit to what that type of gameplay will be like. Ben says, if you remember Chris's old Wing Commander games, working as a team was always a big part of those. You would have your wingmen, you would give them orders, and you would fly together. It's really one of the building blocks of our gaming experience. How far is the whole organization business? Can we expect version 0.1 alpha sometime before dogfighting or after? Ben said, you're going to see the organization system very, very soon. It's in alpha testing right now, Some fans are already out there testing the organization system and making sure it works. It's going to hit before dogfighting, before the end of the month. I was wondering if there would be weather conditions in the game, something that would shut down the spaceports like a blizzard or a hurricane or high winds in general. Rob said, absolutely. Regarding the Sol system, will we only be able to land on Earth, or will there be other landing areas such as the Moon, Mars, or maybe even some of the satellites of Jupiter and Saturn? Rob says yes, there are several landing zones spec'd for Sol system. Of course, not every landing zone may be open on day one, but we'll continually be adding to systems. Eric said we want people to feel like the universe is living and it's going on. It won't just be about finding new systems. There's going to be things done to new systems that open things up and change things a bit. The Hornets look great but are too fast. Can we see something like a big freighter loaded with heavy cargo flying around? Ben said we announced the first freighter recently, the Misk Hull C. Rob said, plus there's the Starfarer. In the Avenger weapon loadout, what's a Tiger Strike? Rob said, we've been getting a lot of information from our German fans about our choice of words on some of our weapons. So we do intend to change the Tigers on Strike gun to Tiger Attack. Ben said, or Tiger Claw. If I'm captured, am I stuck as a captive until I'm sold? Rob said, you're not going to be forced to serve out a prison sentence or be stuck in a hold for a year after someone stops playing. You will go back to your starting or nearest base, and they will have a cargo that will be you. There will also be some penalties to that. Alright, that's it for the forum feedback. Let's move on to Chris Roberts' question and answer section called 10 for the Chairman. During emergency landings, will there be nets to catch the ship? And if the ship crashes into the deck, will a bulldozer then push it off while the emergency crew puts out the fire? First of all, what? That's such a strange and specific question. I'm guessing that's a Wing Commander movie reference question. Chris said, we haven't thought of this side of it yet. It'll be something that's already working in Squadron 42. There will definitely be some cases where we do some level of emergency landings and rescue crews. Will there be server wipes during alpha and beta? Will any of my work carry over to the persistent universe, or will there be a clean wipe before release? Chris said, we don't have a specific stance on this yet. My guess is that we would reset when the game goes live. We may not wipe the final beta stage for backers. What order are we getting the ship models in the game? Chris said, the Cutlass is next in the hangar. It's in the hangar. The ship we have worked on the longest outside of that is the Idris Corvette. We're doing redesigns to fit the ships we want onto the hangar deck. We're doing some variants on the Freelancer and doing stuff on the Caterpillar. It's a race between those. Can you tell us what exploration entails and what plotting a jump point will be like? This is something that we've all been wanting to find out about. We get a little bit of information here. Chris said, it's not going to be just finding an unexplored point, plotting it, and then jumping there. There's a lot of mapping, even in systems that are known. Not all space is mapped. Trade lanes will be mapped and have nav points, but the vast amount of space won't be. We're doing a lot of work and R&D on procedural generation. Jump points are rips in space-time that take you nearly instantly between 2 points. The concept is to have the space-time fabric like a big breaker that you want to surf in. You have to hit exactly the right lines or else you're going to get off track and potentially get ripped apart or spat out in some random part of the universe. It'll require skill and specific equipment. Once you've gone through and recorded your jump, you can sell that to the government or your friends. That sounds pretty good to me. What tablet platform are you going to support for the $5 million stretch goal companion application reward? Chris said, I think by default we would support iOS and Android. We may use something like Unity from the tablet side. In the early Wing Commander games, we had a funeral when a wingman was lost. Is there something similar in Squadron 42? Chris said yes, that was one of the best parts of the original Wing Commander. Will organizations be able to colonize planets and build stations and defenses in newly discovered systems? Chris said that's something we want to do long term. I'm not sure if that's going to be there on initial release. Short term, we'll have mechanics to allow planets and outposts to evolve during the game based on player actions. We're looking at organizations being able to buy and build industries on some planets, so some part of that will be there. Will there be short-range communication? Chris said yes, you'll be able to hail nearby vessels even if they're not on your friends list, and you should be able to put out a global distress call. How will the one server setup work with servers being in different parts of the world? Chris said there is one central server that is the general tasking server, but the actual servers that handle the local instance information are going to be distributed all over the place. The master server is a matchmaking server. It puts people together based on ping, friends lists, associates, persons of interest, enemies, skill levels. It uses all of that stuff to match you up dynamically. What happens between someone in the US and someone in Australia would depend on what you tell the game. It probably would not opt to put you together if ping is high, but you could still choose to hang out with your friends even if your ping is high. Ships will land on planets freelancer style, but what about some of the huge player ships? Chris said, we're not going to let you fly the really large ships down to the planet, probably destroyer and up. You will probably have to dock with a local spaceport and take a shuttle down. We'll have those on larger planets such as Earth or Terra. Or you could just take a shuttle down from your ship in orbit. That does it for the Q&A stuff. Let's see who Ben Lesnick's MVP of the week was. This week it went to Dragonfire Malice for his thread, Brief Introduction to Black Hole Physics. This was instigated by the talk of the new system that was unlocked, the TAMSA system, and the fact that it has a black hole in the center of it and a lot of argument over that black hole and how that would work. So thank you to Dragonfire Malice for that thread. If you're like me, you're always on the lookout for new sci-fi stuff, whether it be movies, television, games, whatever. I'm going to consume it whether it's good or not. Did you ever play GalCiv? That's Galactic Civilizations. If you didn't play it, you need to go play it now. GalCiv 1 and GalCiv 2. This year in 2014, Galactic Civilizations 3 is coming out, and the best thing about this 4X game is it's going to have multiplayer this time around. Yes, you can play it with your friends. I'm really excited about that. It's enough to get me to pre-order it. The pre-order is up on their website. Another game I've had my eye on for a while is supposed to come out early this year. It's called Limit Theory, and it's a 100% procedurally generated, infinite open world game in space where you can have large-scale combat with hundreds of ships, participate in a dynamic economy, and even own your own fleets, stations, and planetary structures. The game boasts immersive mining where you actively search for ore in asteroid fields and then physically extract it using weaponry or specialized mining technology. You can land on planets to check out the trade hubs, get jobs, visit factories, factions, and many, many other things. The AI in the game lives out their own lives just like you do. They're continually doing their own thing as your game time advances. If you're into the X series of games at all, you should definitely check this game out. This very small indie company also says that multiplayer could be a possibility in the future, but maybe not at initial release. The engine used for the game was written from scratch using C++ and OpenGL. Could this be a new contender to step up to the space sim role after the X Rebirth debacle? Maybe so. You can check it out over at ltheory.com. Now let's take the time to recognize a great Star Citizen subreddit post. This week it goes to Strain. We've recognized Strain once before, and this time he's one-upped himself with a new video. Star Citizen Gunrathi War. Strain spent the last month creating this epic video using assets from Star Citizen and other video games combined. All I can say is that if you like Star Citizen and fan fiction, you should check this out. I can only imagine how difficult it was to create this thing with the tools that we have available so far. Excellent job, Strain, and thanks for putting forth the effort to create something for your community to enjoy. That concludes this week's episode. Thank you once again for the support, everyone. I'm making a public request this week. If you're an artist and you want to help out by drawing some custom artwork for our organization, please contact me via theromanticswb@gmail.com. You can also start making accounts and checking out our forums over at our newly revamped website, wearetheromantics.com. Organization information and how to join us will be posted there in the next week or two, so keep your eyes open. See you all again next week on The Whole Truth. Goodbye.